Time sometimes in life, sometimes they take time. Sometimes things take time, right? Does it always take time? Or does it always take time in life? When my old laptop, which is underneath this Google Chromebook, was when I used to try to do this, it would take forever, unbelievable to go live. It was like ridiculous if it would work. It's like the best $80 I ever spent on a Google Chromebook. So, they say the more you invest, the more you receive, and boy, ain't that the truth? It's is a life should be a continuous learning uh, process. You know, I don't know how it is for most people, many people, but for me, I strive to try to become better as a person. Unfortunately, though, I am a piece of work when it comes to people. Um, I am extremely combative, to say the least. When anybody talks to me that I don't know, I'm like, has anybody ever told you to mind your own fucking business? And the second you say that, what you say about people just explode. And then I heard this thing: be kind, don't be nice, be kind. There's a fucking million different ways people tell you how to act, how to think, what to do. It is your prerogative, whatever you want to try to be, do. I just, the older I get, I just never liked going along with the norm. And that's why this episode is called, how to try to unleash anything different, the power within you. And I know you're thinking, well, he's just going to talk about, the Tony Robbins or Wayne Dyer or something like that. And you know what? I'm not. I'm going to talk about my own experiences, what I seen and what I think and what might work for me. I'm still working on these things. You, we are kind of, I don't know if you ever seen these things, these delivery little boxes. They go around and they stop. I don't know, with remote control or whatever, but to me, they're kind of like people. They're just kind of like going around doing their thing. They're not interested in unless someone goes on vacation, seeing something new, or seeing any type of value or potential, in things. Let me. What do I mean by that? I see a beautiful woman. Well, if she's with a guy, then automatically, and you're thinking, well, then that's it. It's like I just don't want to get into confrontations with people, and I'm sure most people are the same. But I used to think, well, hey, you're not being social enough. That's why you're not hooking up. And you know, I really, really am focusing on myself, doing the best to ignore everything. I got a group of women when I was the other day. I was running the steps, and yeah, go. I don't need your fucking clap for your fucking. Go get the clap, whatever that is. But I just don't. You're getting attention from these fucking people. They're trying to show you they support you, but David Goggins, he's running. One time and on the camera, he's just. I think last year at the Big Bear Marathon, I was in one of my moods, and I hope like this year, if I do it, I'm not like somebody goes, "Hey, good job, you're running." The people clapping for you as you're running. But no, no, I'm not gonna do that. I always have a lot of respect. There's a lot of police. They watch because they close the roads, and I always salute them. Thank you for your service. San Bernardino County sheriffs. It's always nice. A lot of respect for when you go to different places. Got the chai spice tea finally from Trader Joe's. I was out, but I got. I'm really trying to not experiment with real clean foods for natural energy. For example, I just got back a couple hours ago from doing the steps again. I didn't do as many as I did like 2 nights ago. I did 100, which is by far that's my own PR. My 60 was my record. I obliterated that. And then the other day I matched it with 60. So I did one, then I did 100, then I did 60, and then tonight I did 40. And I was kind of a little disappointed. I mean, I was still drenched in sweat, but all right, 200 for 3 days. It's not bad. And the Natural Olympia is a little over just about a month away from me now. And, you got to remember the scale is just that. When you stand on the scale and you might see it go up a little bit, it might be down. Remember, the scale is not the ultimate judge. The mirror is. It's hard because we stand on the scale and see what the weight is, but again, the mirror is the ultimate judge. And they're going to have their hands full when I show up in Vegas in a month, because I am fucking going to be sharp as a tack. As a fucking tack when I get there. When I show up this time, be nice and ready. Kind of excited. Just go there and do it. So let's talk a little bit about how to inside how I relate with unleashing that, finding that superpower. Now, we live, a lot of young people. We live in a time of the where youth take the path of the least resistance, and this is not good, because and look, I'm not saying I was perfect when I was young. The lazy, just doing shit that has no value, and I going around trying to find something, meet people. It's like nobody was there to really tell me. I've had some people tell me, "Well, no, you got to book a new." No, but they didn't guide me into like a path that could get me something, and that was discovered um, when I learned of David Goggins. And when I saw somebody like this and what he went through, I kind of started to think to myself, maybe this guy's on to something here. He's not just some wacko that does these crazy endurance runs. Maybe there's a way to crack the type of generic thinking that I had, and of what I'm capable of, by pushing myself um, in ways that I can't imagine. And he's right. He was right, because when you start doing shit that most people are not going to do, can't do, you're what you're gonna do is you're gonna tear a hole. You're gonna tear open the fabric of normality, is the best way I can describe it. The matrix, the type of generic, what other people are just plodding along, and you're gonna start seeing the world differently. and that can give you immense power over yourself. Most importantly, it's very difficult to describe this because you need to experience this for yourself. And the only way to experience this for yourself is to go against the norm, which is extremely uncomfortable. Now, let me give you an example. When I do these steps, I think I've talked about this. There's maybe 50 steps in this park on 3 levels. And, I go all the way up. I count that as a half. I go all the way down. I count it as one. Just turn around, up and down, light jogging if I can. If not, I'll go two at a time. Try to just keep fucking moving. And the snot is coming out my nose. The sweat is coming off my forehead, my body, upper body. I'm doing this with my shirt off at 2 in the morning, sweating. But what happens as you keep going and the uncomfortable really begins to set in, hard to breathe, everything, you are building strength. I did not understand this because when you think of building strength, people I think, well, I go to the gym and I lift the weights, or I'm doing fucking bench press. I can press in one direction, 275. I'm building strength. Look how big I am. Okay, I get that. That's linear strength. I get that. But the endurance is a motherfucker. Okay? It's a fucking bitch. It's way harder. I went to the gym earlier today as well, and you can have fans all around the gym, televisions, and nobody's breaking a sweat in there really. You might hear a couple grunts here and there once in there, but they ain't doing shit, dude. Believe me. They want to look good in clothes for their gay friends or something, or whatever. Mostly these guys. My point is, I see beyond. I know because I did the same thing. I was trying to get big and look good in clothes so women might look. I've been there. I fucking been there. I'm a 4-time bodybuilding champion, natural, but 4 times, 9 competitions, with the 10th, the natural Olympia. The best, the top of the top. The pro division is the top. I'm in the amateurs, but I'm talking the top, 1,000 people on earth. They show up in Vegas for this. That's it. If that. Where I'm diverting from the important. Tearing the fabric, being able to see the matrix from outside. People they cannot understand this because they're thinking of a movie. What are you talking about? Neo and Morpheus and a battery? He's in this liquid, and then you're not understanding this at all. Because how can you? Because you have to see it for yourself, and it's a perception thing. It's not a linear thing where I can tell you, well, this is what it is. I can tell you what it is for me because I've seen this. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing when you you see these broken souls. Oh my god, last night what I saw. And I don't give a fuck about it. It's like being a supreme. I mean, I hate to sound arrogant, but when you can see shit that other people can't see, and it's all around you, and in your know what you're doing is hard, but you're getting benefits from what you're doing. It's like It's an amazing thing. It's like going to the bank and you're withdrawing from an unlimited account, like it's like just going in there. It's like robbery almost. You're just going in there and saying, well, how much do I want today? It's like, well, how much, whatever you want here, take as much as you want. And that's what this is. But to be able to get to do that, it is uncomfortable because again, snot coming out of my nose, sweat pouring down. It is farting. When I'm running, like up and down those steps. It is very uncomfortable shit. It is not, but that's all the garbage coming out. Like when you're really doing the work. And the problem herein lies if you do that in a gym, and it's in like a library, like what I call my gym. People are going to hear it. They're going to look. They're going to see snot coming in. They're going to be like, come on, this guy. Get him out of here. This is a sloppy nothing. We are living in a pussified culture now, meant to keep you low. Like the sheep low into the norm. Nothing exceptional. Um, And if you want to become exceptional and you want to see what I've seen, you're going to have to go to what I call hell. You're going to have to put yourself through hell. And what exactly is this hell? This hell is where you are being extremely selfish. Extremely selfish. You're not doing anything for anybody else. It is not about them. It is not about making anybody else rich. It is not about getting attention. It is about you. It is solely about you. And for me to crack the addiction cycle, there was only two ways that I felt that this could be done. You can sit on your ass and go to 10,000 meetings, is and relate with people and change that way. Or you can expedite this by beating the living shit out of the addiction. And the way that I did that quickly is this type of training, this type of 100% focus on the physical, eliminating people, eliminating everybody that not even just, and it is trench warfare, what I call it. You are going to work until you cannot work anymore, and then you're going to keep working. And it sucks. It fucking sucks. Today in the gym, I felt like shit because I was, yesterday I did 60 fucking steps up and down, sore, my knees below my calves, everything. But I said, I got to get in that fucking gym and I got to do, okay, let's do some tries and then abs. And this type of ab raise exercise that I discovered on the parallel bars, where I put this weight between my feet, not legs, between my feet, and I'm able to lift my hips up. It's kind of hard to show, but lifting your hips up while you're in a parallel position, kind of like and your what you're doing is you're really activating the lower abs. And I would do that at the park on the parallel bars. I was like, okay, I'm getting a little something here. I call it like an ab push up, but the way it's done, I guess it's called like an ab push in. But I do it with the resistance with the weight. I said, oh shit, okay, this could be something here because I notice myself, even though I'm leaning out, the lower ab area has a tendency to hold the fat. And on stage, if you're wearing, if I'm doing classic physique, you're wearing black underwear. Any fat there, is going to show. And if you've got any fat around your waist and you're on stage, you're dead. It's gotta be like veins there. It can't be no fucking fat. You you gotta be a walking anatomy chart if you want to kill it, um, in a bodybuilding show nowadays, and even back in the day. So at my height, like 135 pounds solid beast is gonna kill it. Everybody's thinking mass and size, but no, dude. Um, being cut is a beast, is a fucking beast when you're on stage. I remember this one guy. He was like 140 pounds, I think, at my first show, and I was 160, and I thought, oh, I got this guy. He's like, yeah. He got the pro card and fucking won the overall and everything, and I walked out with my tail between my legs. So, so much for being in the, size counts for nothing. It counts for nothing. Nothing in a natural show. It depends. I've seen guys 175 that were very, very, very solid. They wound up getting pro cards, and but I'm just talking from my own perspective. What I've noticed after being around in this for 3 years. I don't getting off topic of really being able to see things that other people can't see. And it's really amazing when you see the weak minds of people, the time wasters. These people, I see the same people in the gym all the time, and they don't look like nothing. They're nothing. I guarantee you, they've never, they're going nowhere. They got nothing else to do. So it's like, well, as long as I'm going to the gym, I'm trying to make my. I don't know what your goals are, but most people have no goals. Most people are nothing special. They think like you're gonna show somebody something in the gym. Like you're not gonna show me anything. I was in the gym on 9/11. I was in the gym, in 1991 when Michael Jackson's Black and White video came out. I was in the gym in the late 80s in the school where they had the Universal 4 type machines when I started. I've been around since the 80s, dude. You're not going to show me anything. You're not going to school me on nothing, and you're not going to one up me. You can't. I got too much time. I got a master's degree in physics. How are you going to beat me? Unless you got a doctorate in kinesiology, you can one up me. Otherwise, you can't. You can't. That's it. There's levels. There's people that are way up there that are, they got, that's their status. It's a competition on a worldwide scale of, who's got more, who is renowned, who is, known for things, and who is better. Um, but with the same regards, the bar is extremely low. They said it's never been easier to become great, and what I mean by great is a great version of yourself. Like, don't compare yourself to anything, because except to yourself, because they say the comparison is the thief of joy, and that's a great saying. A lot of truth to that. But it's so amazing that we what I see out there. What I see out there is like people, they put so much into their houses, into their cars, and nothing into themselves. Women, their hair and their makeup, whatever. But that's because you're visually seeing that. But I'm talking about health and fitness, man. And people, they just don't fucking get it. These celebrities and stuff, there are rare exceptions. I know they're shooting shit. I know, J Lo is taking stuff. I know for a fact Stallone, they can't do what I can do. You don't understand. My whole life, like my time, I get $0, zero, for all the time and energy I put into health and fitness, the running, the fucking biking, the gym time, all of it. I get zero. I pay for contest. I pay, everything. So it's like most people would think, why do any of this? Like, what do you, you're paying on top of paying for good food, for and then the effort, you're doing all this shit for $0. you know Most people don't get it, because what I think I found was the fountain of youth is what I found. And it's not what you're thinking. The fountain of youth, well, you take a sip and you stay young forever. This is the real fountain of youth, and it's not found in a syringe. It's found in the type of work that I do that sucks. It's being able to not to slow down time really, but it's being able, like, your vehicle, your car, you as a person, you're able to run as efficiently as possible for your age. And it is fucking unbelievable what's possible. It is unfucking believable. And I am so glad that no one gives a shit. I'm so glad no one watches this. I'm so glad nobody cares, because what I know is priceless. And I'm not gonna give it to you. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm telling it to you, my own experience, but it's so great that most people don't give a shit. I really don't care. More for me. I look at it like that, you don't want to, I mean, it's so amazing. It's garbanzo beans, $1 a fucking can. Chicken of the sea, salt in water, sardines, $1 a fucking can. I mean, this stuff fucking kicks ass. 4 pack of avocados, whatever, $1.25 each, whatever. Sunflower kernels, 2.75. This natural energy, you can't fucking beat it. You would laugh if I just told you. No, I'm trying to get off, the sweets and everything like that. Not trying, I am. And it's like, well, I gotta figure out a way to, now this. I'm telling you, this is not, this is a real interesting thing. They make this organic cocoa powder, and I read on the back of the thing it was on sale. So, all right, let me try this shit. And it's like the food of the gods is what it says. I said, oh, okay, all right, fuck yeah. So I fucking take a scoop, like it's powder, right? Just fucking, and like it's pure chocolate, but it's got no sugar. It's got no fucking sugar, just a cocoa powder. And um it's like, it's usually for baking. People use it to baking. But I swear to you, there is some natural um, 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 benefit to a tablespoon of that. I'm telling you, go put that in your mouth. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing till the saliva in your mouth soaks up the powder. But I'm telling you, there is great, great power in natural foods. It might not taste the greatest, but think about it. It's like you're putting in the highest quality fuel into your vehicle. Jack LaLanne said that exercise is king and nutrition is queen when you put it together. And then some other idiot, a comment from a guy, no, it's backwards. Nutrition is king. Look, man, the exercise is king. Okay, period. There's no argument there. Jack LaLanne was 100% right. You are not arguing with him. You lost before you lost before you even do not, it's like it's so funny. It's like you are think you're gonna one up the legends. I love it. I love it. These idiots, they all gonna counter. He said it because he was right, but well, then idiots try to counter argue. But what if you don't eat? You have to have the kingdom. Yes, the exercise is king, but the queen is extremely important. So like the nutrition is your your fuel that you're putting in, to do that. I mean, if I were to to put it in a list, I would go just like Jacqueline said. The exercise is king. The nutrition is queen. The jack that falls below the queen is the fucking rest. Is rest is number three. Like between that and a training log and or nutrition log, logging your progress and rest, like that's your next tier down. If when you get really 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 serious. And you know what really really fucking serious is? When you walk outside or you're walking going to the gym or whatever, and you have your shirt off and people walk by you and they all look, because you are not a normal looking person. You are exceptional. And you show me anyone that's got an exceptional physique without any type of anabolics, without pushing a syringe or taking, anabolic steroids or pills, fake fucking shit. Show me. Show me. There ain't many. There ain't many. You know why? Because it takes too fucking much. It takes too much fucking sacrifice that most people are not going to do. I'm not putting any names or anybody on the spot here, but I have a friend. He's in his late 30s and he goes, oh, yeah, like, and I told him, I have four titles. Two is a 40 plus, 40 to 49 years old, natural bodybuilding champion. I was the only one on stage in classic physique. And he goes, well, I'll be 40 in 3 years and I'm going to get it easily. You're not. You're not, dude. I can assure you that I don't care how many people listen to this, nobody, none of you, just about none of you can and will. None. Zero. I was the only one. The INBA, Ironman Pro, only one on stage, 40 to 49. The world, the World Cup of natural bodybuilding, the only winner, only one, 40 to 49, classic physique men's. Central California Grandmaster champion a couple months ago in front of a full auditorium of probably 300 people. Plenty of guys in there, probably in their 40s or 50s and stuff. Guess how many on stage? Me. Champion. I'll pull out all my medals here. They're in a box. What's the point? I mean, I pull out shit sometimes and show people. But the point herein lies that anybody they think they can, they're talking out their ass. They're talking out of their fucking ass. Because that's easy to do. To sit in a crowd thinking that you can do it too. And you can't. It sounds nice when people say, "Oh, I can do it." Hey, you can do it too. You can be. You can't be. You cannot be whatever you want to be in life. That's the reality. You're not going to sacrifice like I did. You're not going to. It's too much. And most people that and see that's when you know that you're an exceptional person is when you're doing shit that's almost nobody else is. I was in Trader Joe's today, and there was a woman, older. I don't know, maybe she might have been about 60 years old, and she was wearing a T-shirt, Santa Monica 5,000, like a running shirt or something. She looked like she does maybe a half marathon or a marathon, whatever. But she didn't look like she was in good shape. And I've seen these people around. I remember, like, I was going, I forget where I was going, but the LA Marathon by the end in Century City. And I could see these fat Hispanics, these people, fat. And they're doing the run. They're doing the fucking. And I look at them I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, what's the problem here? And I saw that woman that wasn't in good shape. And, I said to myself, these people are not in good shape. They're able to trot along, able to run, whatever, but they're not in good shape. So there's like this misnomer between when I see this and I go, these people, they're doing too much of one and nothing of the other. They should be working like not just aerobic, but anaerobic exercises. They should be doing some resistance exercises to shape their body, or else they look real sloppy. I remember when first did the Big Bear run. There was a woman. It was the half marathon, and toward the back there was this heavy set woman. I could not believe her size. And when I saw her lining up there, I said to myself, I said, you know what? I can go through life wondering, or I can just fucking ask. And at my age, I don't really care anymore what people think. So I asked her. I said, "Really? You're doing this?" She goes, "Yeah." And she probably was like 220 pounds. I was sitting there. So I've seen these people that are grossly overweight, that are not in shape, do these marathons, trot through them and stuff like that. It's incorrect, like that somebody would not see. This is not how you lose weight. This is not how you build a physique. It's a combination. It's a combination of what you do in the gym, resistance exercises, and then the cardio, the cardio stuff. That's like, if you watch David Goggins, he's a combination. He does a shitload of endurance, but he does calisthenics. I watched him do these ab exercises and climb. It's other shit too. Like, it's not just, he's not a one trick pony, dude. Not at all. And that's the problem. Most people, their minds are just like, well, it's either this or it's this. Bruce Lee talked about this. Is Jeet Kune Do is a combination of all these different styles. Most people that do martial arts, they're one trick ponies. They take either Shotokan karate, they take Taekwondo or Kung Fu. They don't understand the freestyle. Like when I tell people I'm a dancer, they go, "Well, what kind of dancing?" Just forget it. Get into it with you. I just say popping, locking. And they, oh, pop locker. Okay, they don't know popping and locking are two different arts. It's two different styles. There is a pop locking, but the locking is one thing, and then popping is another. It's different types of waves and tutting, ticking, transition movements, lots of different shit. They call it break dancing, b-boying, whatever. That's all different too. The thing is that people they're very linear thinkers, most, and that's what I see in the gym. That's what I see, and this is all depth perception that I'm able to observe, um, in a higher definition. The more I challenge myself to become better, uh, version of myself, and especially recently, boy, let me tell you, when you start doing shit that really sucks, it's like an eagle, a bird of prey, which I learned. I was curious. I was looking up birds of prey because you know different types of osprey. An owl is a bird of prey. A falcon, different types of condor. Vulture, bird of prey. But a crow or raven is not a bird of prey, dude. And a pigeon is definitely not a bird of prey. And that's what most people are. They are pigeons. At a higher level, they are crows, raven type people. But a bird of prey is, a dangerous motherfucker. Like that's what I'm working to become, and that's what you want to be, and to become that, you're gonna have to go to a place that very few are going. And I'm not talking about a generic marathon. I'm not talking about it because I just told you I've seen people that ain't nothing that are doing that. It's not enough to it's a start. It's a start when you really work on your cardiovascular, and you're again, you gotta do shit that fucking sucks, dude. And I mean sucks. And if you do that, you can. I will read your comments. Okay, I will read. I will give you respect if if you can prove to me that you are challenging the narrative. And most people are not going to challenge the narrative. They're not. It's too fucking hard. It's too difficult. You are just going along with society, doing the same thing like everybody else. I don't got time. I gotta watch TV. I gotta make money surviving. And you ain't doing shit. You ain't becoming nothing. You're hanging around fucking losers, drinking, smoking. Dude, God help you if you're doing drugs. You're never, ever gonna become anything, um, even remotely interesting, even remotely interesting to me, because I know most people they're not gonna go there. It's amazing, like these levels that go up, and most people, what happens is the air starts getting thin, and then they just go fuck this shit. They're not even taking the first step. I'm taking the steps, and I go, this sucks, man. But you know what? You want to complain? You're complaining to yourself. You're complaining to yourself. No one gives a shit. If you go there, and my friend goes, well, you should record everything. You record it in your mind. You don't need people's approval. You don't need attention. You don't need any of this shit. What you do need is to understand that if you go to these places that really suck, you know, doing the things that no one's willing to do but you, then I can assure you what's going to happen is you're going to open up the doors of imagination. The eagle eye, what I call it, the high definition, being able to see the world really for what it is, from a very sharp, clear perspective that almost no one else can. This is the best way that I can describe this. It's unfucking believable. Maybe they call this taking the pill, like the red pill or the matrix, whatever, the blue pill, whatever. But there is no pill here. This is just, this is God basically giving you the power and showing you something that most people will not be able to see. Now, again, to be able to witness this, to be able to view this, you're going to have to go to a place that really sucks. And it's not a physical place. It's a place you're challenging you're what you're capable of. You're challenging things that you normally do. And there's a guy on YouTube. He really gets this. Um, and he's not like David Goggins or anything, but he talks about, was it Tom Scarlello or something. But he was like a programmer, and he just said, fuck all this. I'm going to make videos on YouTube talking about how not to be a slave to society. And he kind of survives and everything, but he really understands what most people are, and most people are just, they're modern day slaves. They got no freedom. I gotta make money. I gotta go to work. You don't gotta do shit, dude. Well, then what? Don't worry about it. And that's the problem. People are just too scared to live their life. They're just going along like everybody else, like that delivery fucking thing, that little square thing that goes around. You get a vacation once a year, whatever. For a couple of days, you get to maybe go see something for a second. That's living. Joke, dude. Weekend comes around, maybe get to go to a restaurant or, excuse me, a movie for a fucking second. That's living. You fucking living, dude. You got invisible chains on you like everybody else. You'll never see it. You'll never see it, dude. It's like an anchor. I talked about this anchor that holds you down in the last episode. I know people with money too, and they still got anchors on them. They don't know how to live while they're alive. They never will. Never will. And by the time they get old, because they didn't make health and fitness a number one priority, then they will really see what life is about the hardest way possible. So amazing when you can see it from my perspective. Hmm. I'm not bragging, I'm financially struggling, really not moving ahead right now. But I'll tell you what I do have is more freedom than you. What value does that have? I might live in America, but I want you to think about this. And it's the last thing I'm going to leave you with before I go. You live in America, right? Are you really free? Or you just think you are? I really think about that. You're not free, dude. I gotta go. Yeah, of course you got to. You got to. Because you're not free. I am. I don't got to do shit. I don't have to compete in the number one natural bodybuilding show on the planet. I don't have to do anything, but I can because I'm free. I don't have to go for a doctorate degree to get a job. I'm getting it just because I fucking want it. That's all. I'm free, dude. Got another friend. He's a lackey. My boss said, fucking lackey, dude. I'm sure you're like about the same thing and you basically got nothing. Whatever you think you have, you don't got nothing. Trust me. You might think you're driving a Maserati. So what? Who gives a fuck? You can sit in traffic while I'm jogging by. Nobody in front of me. No traffic in front of me. I'm walking and, working on myself. Body's moving. You're sitting in your steel coffin, dude. You're not going faster. You're not getting anywhere ahead of me. I have most of you people beat, and I'm broke. Literally. Because I see things in a way that you do not. And I can't give that to you. The only thing I can give you is that to challenge that narrative. And you're not going to. Just like you're not going to compete like me. You're not. I'm the only one, dude. I'm the only one. Okay, there's a couple people that compete in physique. I saw 52. There was one guy. There was, a couple of people in the 60s. I know they were doing regular bodybuilding. I know they were juicing. But in classic, 50 to 59 on Earth, there won't be more than 7 or 8 people in the amateur category, and I'm one of them. And I'm gonna fuck them up in Vegas when I get there. That's it on the whole planet. And then I'm gonna come back that night and I'm gonna go to the fucking Big Bear and I'm gonna do the fucking marathon. I can't wait, dude, to be standing out there in the fucking cold at 4 or 5 in the morning. I cannot fucking wait. Because I know what it's gonna do. It's gonna callous my mind more. You don't see the value. No one sees the value in that. No one sees the value. Goggins tries it, he explains it the best he can, but unless you go out there and suffer yourself, you can't. It's really amazing. It's an amazing thing to see the world from a different perspective. It's priceless. It's like being a supreme fucking being. It is. Maybe I don't know what it's like to be really rich, to be able to, have the power. I think of like the emperor in Return of the Jedi. When he fucking boom, like he unleashes the Force lightning, like it's like being God, like godlike, the power of the Force. I guess when you're wealthy, you can, because you can command when you have money, you can. It's like how valet people open the door for you, or that, oh yes sir, and park the car for you. So you're controlling the person, or going into a club, oh sir, make you're a VIP, they treat you like something. When you have money and status, that's probably the only thing I can think of as far as power, um, but this type of eye-opening experience, this is something I don't think money can buy. I think it's something that you you have to create through the type of suffering that most people ain't going there. They ain't going there, man, because it's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And for you people that are thinking, well, I go to the gym and you really getting something off of it? Can you walk down the block with your shirt off and just people be like, holy shit? Guarantee you no. You got plenty of fat on your fucking body. Plenty. You don't look like anything special, dude. Nothing. Because I see it all the time. Because you don't know what I know. You don't train how I train. You can't do what I can do. You're looking at generic fucking people that, it's Arnold. That's the definition of what. Yeah. You never heard of like Bruce Lee before? You never saw the fucking shit that guy could do? Why can't people combine different things? Why does this one trick either I just do that or that? It's why can't you be able to run and have forget these steroids, all this kind of shit, because that's the problem. The human body is not meant to look impressive. It's meant to look efficient. It's meant to be efficient. And people, they just don't understand any of this at all. I see these idiots running around the street all the time like this. I know they ain't getting shit. Not getting nothing. A little cardio and a little bit of endurance, but I have yet to see one person run the steps with me. Yet one, they would die. They'd fucking die. No one, yeah, to break my record in the park of 100 steps, they better be fucking really, really something, dude. Really something. They're out there. I know they're out there. There's people that can do it, just not here. Because most people are fucking pussies and they're traveling the path of the least resistance where there's no value. They will never, never see what I can see. Never. Just like my friend that thinks that by the time he's 37, he thinks by the time he's 40, he's going to be on stage and do what I can do. David Goggins is the exception. He, in 3 months, changed his whole body, like lost over 100 pounds, became sharp, to be able to go to Navy SEAL training. It's possible, but that's one man, one and one only. What my friend thinks he can do in 3 years, he will not do in 3 lifetimes. Anybody can sit in the crowd going, I can do it too. You can't do it, dude. You can't. Because I'm the only one, and that's the only thing I've ever seen. When I did the Natural Olympia, 40 to 49 2 years ago, there were 8 people, if that, on stage. I think 6 or 7, I think that was it, on planet Earth. And I was one of them. Okay? They are not going to show me anything. That's it. That's reality. Fantasy is what people. That's what the garbage is. People talk. They're worthless. And then there's the doers. There's people like me out there doing this shit for no money, paying on top of it, paying for flight, hotel, entry fee, tanning, good food, everything. Not trying to make a dime off of it. Nothing. But that's what makes me me. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this informative discussion on how to create the higher version of yourself, which I don't think most people really address it the way I can do it, the way I address it. Hope you learned something. If you're not learning,